Boom! Here we are. We're live. It's great. You're going to love it, especially if, as usual, pardon me, you want to learn some of my philosophies, my approach, my ideas on how you can do better in your business, man. Because really, isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day? Okay. I swear I'm having the most weird tech issues right now. Okay, this is ridiculous. Come on, get it together. I'm like halfway in the screen. I got to lean way back just to be in camera. I don't know what's going on, but it's not going to stop us. I'm going to break down for you today the 3 biggest mistakes you're making and everyone's making when it comes to monetizing your Facebook group. Now, you're probably seeing this in my group. You might see this later as a replay. And of the people that see the replay, some of you might be out of the group, but generally speaking, you're seeing this in my group. If you've noticed, whenever I offer free trainings, some people call them hand raisers, some people call them freebies. I heard one guy call them fire starters, which I like. And some people call them 2-steps, or honeypots is another one. Whatever you call them, I create free trainings. I offer them to you, again, for free. And if you look through the group, you'll see I get scores of people, from 30 comments to 50 comments to 100 comments, in some cases, well over 200 comments. And so those people raising their hands for the freebies, yourself included, are getting more and more familiar with me, with what I do, with how I do it, with my personality. And all of these things are very important to deciding whether or not you want to entrust me to help you if and when you're ready to get help with your marketing, your business, and your lead gen stuff. And so I say all that to say this. All of those hands that you see raised lead to clients. So I'm getting clients out of my Facebook group monthly, weekly, even, sometimes daily. But, that's not the point. The point is it's working. The point is when I come to you and I jump on a live stream or something telling you that I've got insight into how you're screwing up your Facebook group, assuming you want to monetize it, of course, then you can trust me. That's what I'm saying to you here. I've also got I don't know how many, but I've helped with 20, 25 groups at this point, maybe. And so it's really interesting because some of the stuff I didn't even see until I saw it, obviously. But it's unexpected. The things that I'm learning from doing this for multiple people with multiple different styles and voices in multiple industries is that there are, in fact, patterns, and there are, in fact, fairly reliable ways to predict whether or not your group is going to be profitable for you. So let's jump right in. After a sip of coffee, of course. So to start with, the number one thing, the number one problem all of you guys have. This comes from my group. This comes from running other groups for people. And more importantly, it comes from lots and lots and lots of consults with people who either have a group or who want to have a group. And when I talk to people about this stuff, I ask, if I do say so myself, thoughtful questions, probing questions, questions designed to gain insight, interrogative. And so all of that is just to set the stage for the fact that there are patterns that emerge. And so the number one thing is, I've been harping on this a lot lately, so I might sound like a broken record, but the odds are you haven't thought of this. And the number one thing really is your mindset. But I'm going to get more specific about that because that doesn't help anyone if you just say, oh, it's your mindset. Fix your mindset. Your mindset's fucked up. That's just like basically gaslighting. If I don't give you something to be aware of or to think about or to work on, then it doesn't do you any good for me to say it's your mindset. So here we go. I really want you. This is one of those moments where I know I'm giving you the information that could change your life. This could really change your life. And I also know that most people won't take this and take it to heart, but I do it anyway. So here it is. When I say mindset, what I mean is this. You have a whole bunch of little, either invisible to you or close to invisible, as in hard to detect, little, it's like a little posse of limiting beliefs, preset ideas, and even like what do they call it in the, okay, so like your nervous system is calibrated to almost to find a certain reality in the information that you take in. And I know I'm getting esoteric here, and I haven't yet figured out how to say this in really simple language because it's an esoteric thing. Here's what it is. So you don't just dispassionately do the work. If you're familiar with the Tao Te Ching, if you're familiar with Zen philosophy, if you're familiar with Taoism, Confucianism, the Buddhism even, these are great disciplines to give you the context through which to understand this idea. And so there's an idea that is shared amongst, and it shows up differently, but it's shared amongst all of those disciplines. And the idea basically says, detach yourself from expectations of the outcome. And then if you go deeper into it, you learn that the way that we here in the West have interpreted that, like you'll see people living lives of no significance, no contribution, no real meaning. And you talk to them and they'll say, well, I'm detached from outcomes. I'm just living in the moment. That's a misunderstanding and a misapplication of the idea. The idea is detach yourself from the outcome, but give everything to the process, right? Think about that. How much different is it to say, I'm going to ennoble everything I do with the best I can give it, and then I'm going to release it, from this sort of Western kind of like hippie mentality influence. Well, I'm just detached from the outcome. I have no expectations. That leads to spending all your time doing nothing. It leads to pursuing meaningless pleasure. So you could do that if you want. Hey, by all means, do that if you want. I've never seen that lead to anything good, and I've never seen it lead to anything significant. So the first thing you have to understand is that you have all of these little hard to identify, in some cases perfectly invisible to you, little ways that you connect to expectation, like your ego connects to expectation. Now, how does that high-minded kind of abstract philosophical thing connect to just running your goddamn Facebook group? Here's how it connects. Because in ways that you tend not to perceive, you judge your content. In ways that you tend not to perceive, you judge your videos. In ways that you tend not to perceive, you find little, very soft excuses, so soft they're imperceptible, that bump you just a degree or two off of being consistent, right? And if you want to have, I was going to say, if you want to have a successful Facebook group, you have to be consistent. But there's a couple of things here. One is the same people who aren't consistent with Facebook groups tend not to be consistent at all. So what I mean by that is there's a certain way that marketing yourself on social media requires you to put yourself out there. And a lot of us judge ourselves on that. We're uncomfortable doing it. And so we do it in this very measured way, or we do it kind of like we have to work our way around our internal resistance to do it. But here's the thing. in order to be really successful in marketing your coaching, you need to be consistent regardless of how you feel. Like, that's a big one. And so all of what I just said is really meant to point to that. If you are struggling with your Facebook group, if you're struggling with your organic marketing, if you're struggling with building your funnels and writing your copy, whatever it is, the reason you're struggling with it is because you don't yet have the ability to put whatever your feelings in the moment are aside and just do the work. I cannot tell you how many, it's everyone. How many times I've been on calls with people before they've paid me, after they've paid me, while we're working together, where you guys let the most asinine little excuses stop you from the thing you say you want the most. And it's baffling to me. So, can a Facebook group bring you clients? Well, it's working for me. It's working for lots of other people. It's working for my clients. But the ones that put do the work, right? And so you got to get real with yourself about that. You've got to get real with yourself. And in some cases, you need a perspective shift, because you will have gone to a corporate job for 9 hours a day for 20 years, but somehow you can't bring yourself to make a fucking video, right? You know what I mean? It's crazy when you think of it that way. It's lunatic. The things you say you want the most get hamstrung by these things that matter the least. That's really fascinating. So it's your mindset, but not in a vague, general, useless way. It's your mindset in the sense that you need to overcome those little internal points of resistance that are basically ego-driven, right? And that's why I say you've got to do the work and release from the outcome, release expectation of the outcome. And I know that this is getting out there into the ethers, but I promise you, you talk to me about your mindset and I'll be able to guess what your calendar and your bank account look like. You show me your bank account and your calendar and I'll be able to accurately predict what your mindset is like. They are inextricably linked. And so you might think, oh, it's a Facebook problem, it's a group problem, it's a positioning problem, it's a this problem, it's a that problem. But until you can eliminate whether or not you're being consistent enough, you can't even get to those other things and evaluate them for whether they're problems or not. You've got to get that consistency. You see people who have a great writing voice. You see people whose content is just absolutely on fire. Mine. And you wonder, how do they do that? Are they special? Are they different than you? Well, maybe. But I promise you, consistency is the lion's share of it. Why? Because with consistency, you get better, right? It's like, how do you get better besides practicing? So, number one thing you're doing that is screwing you up with, yes, Facebook groups, but really any marketing, social media marketing, the number one problem is you've got to get out of your own way. You got to stop second guessing yourself. You got to stop judging yourself. You got to stop pay attention here, manufactured complexity into the mix. And you've got to stop holding yourself to a ridiculously high standard, right? I got news for you. We don't even want you to appear perfect. We don't even want you to appear perfect. We want you to seem like a competent, skilled human. There are certainly areas where you want the person to seem perfect, a doctor, a lawyer, things like that. But in the coaching world, that's not what we're after. That's not what we want from you. So because everyone's mindset stuff is different, what I'm going to say to you here for a tactical fix, a tactical, I can take this and use it right now kind of way of dealing with the mindset stuff, is to just look back at the end of the day and see if you produced as much needle moving work, content, as you feel you should have. If not, then you need to start checking in with your thoughts and your feelings. And when I say feelings, I mean your body. Because here's the thing, the tip-off will happen there. It'll happen in your thoughts, although it goes by fast, and it'll happen in your body, and that's easier to detect. But basically, you need to be able to show up and deliver consistently. Full fucking stop. If you can't do that, the rest of it's just a wash. The rest of it is not going to happen. Even if you pay someone to do it for you, you still have to show up consistently. Like, that's one of the big kind of things I've learned in running groups for people. Yeah, it's a done for you service, but guess what? There are certain things you need to do still, regardless. And if you do them, what I see is your group generates leads. And if you don't do them, what I see is your group struggles. So it's full stop. It's right there. So that's one thing, the big thing, mindset, because without that, without sort of creating a clear channel, a clear pathway to doing the work, which means getting rid of the beliefs you have around, whatever, until you can create that clear channel, the next things I'm about to share with you won't matter a lick. They don't matter at all in the slightest. When you are able to show up consistently and, get better at your content and all that stuff, then the next things become relevant. And so thing number 2, being confused and or having no real vision or strategy within your group. That's a big one. That's a really, really big one. So let's talk about that a little bit. The old school way of doing groups was really, you could think of it as using a group to build your personal brand to the point where you've got credibility, trust, and authority with people in the group, then offer them things. Now, can you still do it that way? You can, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work. And so in a way, one of the problems is you're making it more complicated than it has to be. Remember, I just mentioned manufactured complexity. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because I think it's really important to understand. This is a well-documented, we'll call it a psychological phenomenon. When we are out of our comfort zone, when we are doing things where we're not really sure, what happens is, among other things, our minds will generate this manufactured complexity, which is to say, in our minds, we make things harder than they are. Because really, at the end of the day, all you have to do is show up and create some content a couple of times a day. That's not hard, guys. It's not hard. Don't tell me it's hard. I'm not going to be receptive to that because I know it's not hard. It's hard not to judge yourself about it. It's hard not to get into all those mindset traps we talked about. But at the end of the day, the mindset stuff might hold you back. But other than that, it's not hard to create content. But here's what happens. We don't have a clear vision and or strategy for the group. And so because there's no guide rails in terms of a vision or strategy, we don't know what to post. We have no idea what to post. So we post all kinds of stuff. And when we post too much stuff, especially across too many different sort of interests and topics and themes, what happens is it becomes hard for people to sort of engage that Pavlovian response. Pavlov's dogs, right? He trained them so that when he rang the bell, they salivated because they correlated the ring of the bell with food. Well, it's just like that for us. Although it's not bells and food, but you need to develop like this earn, I should say, this like Pavlovian connection between how you show up in your content and who it is you are professionally. And so talking about too many different things becomes a watering down and a diffusing element, a destabilizing element to the focus of your group. So again, you don't have a vision and or a strategy for what to do in the group. And so as a result, you do too much. It gets to feeling too overwhelming because of the mindset stuff from earlier, and you wind up just giving up, which is also a mindset defense. Because, and I'm about to sneeze, remember that when we are out of our comfort zone, all kinds of defenses come in, like self-inflicted defenses, because we don't like being out of our comfort zone. And so you've got to be able to discipline yourself to stay there. until it becomes your comfort zone, expanding your capacity. And so to recap that one, what I'm saying here is this. The second reason why your group isn't working the way you want it to is because you don't have a clear plan or vision. And really the plan or the vision manifests itself in the kind of content you put in the group, the frequency of it, and things like that. Things like, are you paying attention to the little details on the back end? But mostly, if you just had a vision for the group and a content strategy to match that vision, things would change. So number one was mindset. And I went really deep into what I'm talking about with mindset. Number two is you don't have a clear vision or strategy for what you're trying to do in the group. And number three, brace yourselves. You don't make any offers. You don't make any offers. It's not even clear to people what it is you do because you don't make any offers. Now, should you make offers right in the group? My own philosophy is occasionally. Occasionally you can make offers right in the group. But you really want to be building up your sort of credibility and your authority and earning that trust from people more than making offers. So where do the offers happen? The offers happen in conversations with people. So the group is a great thing to get conversations started. And then you can make the offers to people that you're in conversations with. So let's recap. I promised you I'd give you the three main killers of a successful Facebook group, the three main things that are happening that are stopping you from having a profitable group. The first one of those is mindset, right? It's just all the noise, all the self-talk, all the chatter that pops up inside of you. And by the way, you'll be able to feel it in your body too as adrenaline. And all of this stuff pops up because you're out of your comfort zone. And when you're out of your comfort zone, like I already said, your body, your mind, your nervous system starts generating all these obstacles because it wants you back where you're comfortable. The good news is if you stay out of your comfort zone long enough, that becomes your comfort zone. And so what I'm talking about with that really is growing, right? That's how you grow. You can't, as the person you are today, you can't just go to, let's say, $1 million a year or a $50 million company. No, you have to develop yourself along the way. It requires a new version of you to do things that this version of you can't do. So that means you got to stay out of your comfort zone until it becomes your comfort zone over and over and over again. So you need to develop the skill of staying focused and productive and effective while being outside of your comfort zone. Number two, you have no vision or strategy for the group, right? And we talked about that. And without a vision or a strategy, it's just kind of like spaghetti against the wall or spray and pray. And ultimately what happens is everybody just kind of quietly backs away from doing anything for their group when they don't see the results they want. And they're not getting the results they want because they have no strategy and no vision, obviously, right? And then the last thing is you've got to make offers. If you have the mindset right, if you have the content strategy and the vision for the group right, but you're not making offers, it's like you've led the horse to water, but it's not drinking. And you've got to make offers. And how do you make offers? Well, occasionally in the group is fine, but mostly it's just through the conversations that you create through the group. Now, there it is. Those are the three biggest culprits. And so it's not this technical, superficial stuff as often as people think it is, right? People always say things like, well, I don't know if the group I have matches my offer. Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But in reality, that is a way down the road kind of thing to establish. If you haven't dealt with this mindset stuff and this comfort zone stuff, you haven't created a clear vision and content plan, a strategy for your group, and you don't make offers, it doesn't matter what else is going wrong. Those are the things. That's it. That's what the fuck you need to focus on first and foremost. And by the way, if you want my help with this, you can just reach out to me, tag me in the group, and just say, let's talk, or I need your help, or whatever it is. Just tag me in the group and let me know. And if so you're not seeing this as the replay, so you're seeing it on my phone right now. But on the replay, which I shoot on a different camera, you'll see a little ticker tape at the bottom of the video talking about the Client Creation University program, which is my foundations program for everything organic marketing. Organic, of course, in case you don't know, is marketing you do without spending money. Now, you got to spend money to join my program, of course, but it's very, very inexpensive. In fact, it's currently only $175 a month. I say all that to say this. If you need help with this stuff, and you want help with this stuff, whether it's for your group or your profile or whatever, I've got an option for you that is incredibly affordable and yet incredibly powerful. And it's live, by the way. It's me teaching. It's not pre-recorded videos. It's not that stuff. It's not, there's support. There's access to me and to the community. And if you want to learn about that or any of the other ways I can help you, just tag me in the group. Just tag me in the group and say, let's chat. If you're watching the replay and you're not in the group, you can still find me. I'm not hard to find. Come to me and let me know you want to chat. That's all you got to do. And I promise you, I can get you through these obstacles and get you making more money, being more satisfied, more gratified. And that's really what it's all about, right? I mean, you took a chance committing to being a coach in the first place. I feel like you deserve to experience the good side of this work. And it's really great. So if you're struggling to get the clients, whether it's from your group or your profile or whatever, and you need to sort of clarify and get help with this stuff, reach out, tag me, get into my DMs. You know how to find me. It's not a question of not knowing how to find me. So with that, final recap. 3 things that are killing your Facebook group is what I promised you, and I delivered. First one was mindset. Second one was vision and strategy. And third one was making offers. These are the things that are killing unsuccessful groups. Facebook groups are not dead. The algorithm has not changed in such a way that it doesn't any longer reward good content. In fact, the algorithm will never change to the point where it doesn't reward good content. Okay? Let's just be clear about that stuff. Put ear blinders on to all the noise and just understand. Show up, be consistent, get better, do the work. You'll get the results. Okay? All right. See you in the next one.